Hey everyone, Craig here, and today I am excited to share with you my recipe for Chewy Anzac Biscuits. Follow along, it's really easy, and these are an absolute lover. Okay, here we go. This is what we're going to need. So right in front of me here, I've got 1 cup of plain flour, I've got 1 cup of rolled oats, I have 1 cup of desiccated coconut, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, I have half a teaspoon here of bicarbonate of soda, I've got 2 tablespoons of golden syrup, I've got 2 tablespoons of water, and I've got 125 grams of butter. Now, the great thing about Anzac biscuits is that they keep for a really long time. It was so that families could send food over to the troops who were fighting in the First World War. And all of these ingredients were ingredients that were really easy and attainable around the house. So that was one of the reasons why it's such a simple and great recipe. Okay, let's get started. So what we've got to do is, to the flour, we're going to add the rolled oats, the coconut, and the sugar. All right, put those in. Give it a bit of a mix. Just combine all that together. Again, it's a really simple recipe, and you'd be surprised that it doesn't take long for them to cook. You know, and I'll go through that once we actually pull them out of the oven. I'll show you how to look after them once they come out. So there we go, we've got that going there. So let's just put that to the side for the moment. And now what we're going to do is we are going to do the wet ingredients. So to a pot here, just going to get this on. We're going to add our butter, put that in. And right away that's starting to melt. Into that we're going to add the water, and we're going to add the golden syrup. So, in it goes. Again, these are all really available ingredients during the day, and there is just a real benefit in making these because they last for ages. And yeah, you could buy them from the store, but hey, making them yourself, yum. Making them yourself, there's just so much more to it. All right, so we're just going to let that melt. Just keep it on a medium heat. We want it to just, everything just to melt and combine together. I'll take this opportunity to say, if you haven't already checked out my other recipes on my YouTube channel, you can just search Christian Cooking with Craig when you go to your internet browser, and they'll show up there on YouTube channel. You know, take a moment, have a look. If you like them, subscribe. Okay, we're slowly getting to the point where this is coming together. The reason you do this on a medium heat is because when you're combining fat and water, it doesn't tend to sort of go well. So where you can, I would really recommend, you know, being a little more cautious on heat. And of course, if you've got your kids helping you, just keep an eye on them too. You know, never want to be leaving hot things unattended in the kitchen. All right, there we go. That is just about done. Great. And to that, we're actually going to add our bicarb. So in it goes. Watch this. Just gives it a bit of a stir. Creates a little bit of froth and fizzle. Bicarb does a couple of things. It changes the pH, so it changes the levels in the liquid, and also it promotes leavening or rising. And the other thing it can do is it can also brown your food as well. All right, so once that's done, take that off, and then this goes into here. Nice and simple. And in it goes. Look at that. Beautiful. Just stir this together. Just bring it together. Oh, the smell. If you could smell it, you'd love it. So it just all comes together. You notice I didn't use any salt in it. Bicarb actually helps with a little bit of that too. Now it might look like there's not enough, but you've got to remember the liquid will continue to hydrate the flour, and the oats are going to soak it all up as well, and the coconut is threaded through there as well with the sugar. Okay, just keep combining it until you don't see any of the dry ingredients anymore, and that it's all been incorporated in. Alright, and as you can see, it's all come together, looking pretty good there. And you can see here, it's like if I bring it together with my hands, it's not too hot. Once you combine it, like the hot liquid with the dry ingredients, it cools down pretty fast. But you can see it, how it's all come together, and it's formed a pretty solid, basically like a cookie dough. And at this point, we're able to start setting it up. Alright, so now that we've got that done, we're going to start putting these onto a baking tray, and then I'll show you how we're going to do that. Alright, now what we do is we get a tablespoon, like a good sized tablespoon, you know, don't be stingy. Get it, and you just roll it into a ball. Or just press it into a ball actually. Now these will spread out, and I like to make good sized ones. So there we go. Just going to do one there. Now look, you can make the decision to weigh them out if you like, but you know, growing up in the country, we eyeballed everything. So 2. And if one's a little bit bigger than the others, that's all right too. You know, don't worry too much about that. Okay. 3. Every dawn service, I make an effort, and sometimes I'll bake a lot of these, and I'll take them along to the dawn service, and then I'll actually hand them out to people, because I think it's just, you know, again, it's one of those things. It's reflection, it commemorates, and it's giving you food of the time. So that, I think, is also one of those things that makes it a very close thing to the hearts of Australians and New Zealanders. Anzac, of course, identifying the Australia and New Zealand Army Corps. And so these small treats, as you share them together, it's an additional layer of reflection and remembrance. So once we've got that done, just grab a fork and just lightly press the top of it. We want to flatten it out a bit, because the reason I've left so much space is they spread out a lot in the oven. So just press them down a little bit like that. Like this. It's alright, you might get a couple of craggly bits, and there's nothing wrong with that. There we go. And these go into a 160 degree oven, preheated. If you've got fan forced, then I would maybe bring it down to 150. The amount of butter in these is like, as I said, it will cause them to spread out, but don't be too concerned. And when they come out of the oven, I'll show you what they look like and just the best way to cool and prepare them. Okay, here we go. These go into the oven. I'm going to set up the rest of the Anzac biscuits now, and I've got this round pizza tin, because the oven I'm using, it's like one of those little benchtop ovens, which I love. But of course, I've got a piece of square baking paper but it's a round thing. So this is how I do it. Grab my scissors. So we go fold. And then we go fold again. And then fold. Like you're making like a paper aeroplane, and you just keep folding around and folding around. Okay, get to the point like that. Then you get to, you count your, eyeball it again to the center, just get it out to around about there where it's going to be. Get your scissors, and then just a little bit of arts and craft, never hurt anybody. And then when you unroll it, there you go, nice and set. And what I will do is I normally get a little bit of water. I'll dab a little bit of water on this and then put the paper on, and that'll actually stick it down. That's a great way to do it. Watch, just one quick spritz of water, press this down, and there you go, ready made. Doesn't drip, doesn't fall, nice and easy. Now we've got that, let's go ahead and do the others. If you've got some thoughts or some ideas, please put them in the comments below, and we'll check on those Anzac biscuits and see how they've come out. As you can see here, they've puffed up a fair bit, and you can see they've spread out a bit as well. So the thing is, don't take them off the baking tray just yet. The reason you don't is because they're too fragile. They need a few minutes so that they can start, so the air can start to cool and hold them all together. So if you touch them too early, they're just going to fall apart. All right, so while we're doing that, I'm going to put these other ones in the oven, and they were in there for around about 14 minutes. All right, so these are feeling a little bit better, so I think it's okay for us to move this out there. Excuse my asbestos fingers. Okay, got a little scraper here, and just going to gently put them onto a cooling rack. Okay. So we'll just wait for the second batch to cook, and then they'll come out as well. Okay, and here's the other batch. Fresh out of the oven. As I said, remember, leave them there for a few minutes. The air is going to help firm them up before we move them across, okay, to the cooling rack. Now, these are quite firm. They're still quite hot, but when you break into them and have a look at them, just have a look at this. Beautiful. Tender crumb right there. Tastes incredible. I mean, who can't eat a warm biscuit, like a warm cookie? Just fantastic, right? So beautiful. So quite unashamedly, I say my take on the traditional soldier's biscuits, or as we call them today, Anzac biscuits. Thanks guys.